All right, guys, so let's get started since we are a few minutes after 1 o'clock and I do want to be mindful of everyone's time. So welcome to our virtual session today about finding your community on campus here at Rowan University. My name is Dr. Jessica Syed and I am the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions here at Rowan. I wanted to give a special congratulations any of our accepted students, whether you are a freshman student coming in the fall with our class of 2024, whoop, whoop, or a transfer student coming in this fall. We are super excited to see you on campus and cannot wait to welcome you. I know we probably also have some prospective students in the group who are still just searching for schools. Maybe you're a little bit younger, still in high school, or a transfer student still just looking around. Welcome as well. So as we get started today, I will give you guys a quick rundown on how this session will work. I do, again, see a lot of familiar names on our session today, so welcome back. It's great to virtually see you guys again. And I think we also have a few newcomers. So for any of you who this is your first virtual session at Rowan, we will do about a 15-minute presentation followed by Q&A. And the Q&A piece is so important. We really want to make sure we hear your voices, even though it's virtual, and make sure this becomes a conversation and you guys are here getting your questions answered. So hopefully you guys can see us and you can hear us, but please know that we can't see you and we can't hear you. So the best way to communicate is if you look at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, everyone should see the Q&A feature. So from here, everyone can write in their questions, write in any comments that you guys have, and we can interact that way. So right now, if everyone wants to introduce yourself so we can get to know who's in the room. So tell us your name, where you're from, where you went to high school, or what college you're attending right now if you're a transfer student. Let us know if you're admitted so we can celebrate you for a minute. And then for those of you who have been in other sessions with me, you guys know I'm always looking for a recipe or a Netflix show to watch or a new workout to try. But I just finished Ozark, so I really need a new Netflix recommendation. Yes, it was really good.
Ozark was great, right? I've watched it twice.
Oh, it was good. It was really good.
Have y'all watched Never Have I Ever yet?
Yes, I've watched that one also. Yeah. There's another good one. It's called Upload.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is good. All right, students, so chime in, let us know. Let us know who you are, introduce us, give us some Netflix recommendations. What are we missing? I've already watched Tiger King. I'm about to have a separate virtual session just about Tiger King. It's all I want to talk about. You guys know this if you've been in other sessions with me. I think we need like a Tiger King like fan group virtual session. So let's see who we have. I know we have Jackson, who is musically talented, is our future Grammy winner.
Right.
Who else do we have today? Let's see. Brendan, who is a sophomore at Red Bank Regional. Excellent.
All right.
We have Catherine, who is a transfer student from Ocean County College. Excellent. I've watched Netflix and been watching Disney Plus. Yes, I keep forgetting I have Disney Plus.
So I binged all the Star Wars. I did.
That surprised me.
Star Wars.
That's a serious investment of time.
Yeah.
Emma from GCIT. Emma, good to see you again. I know I've seen your name in a couple of our other sessions. We have, if I'm saying your name wrong, let me know and I will try to repronounce it again. Reyes is a transfer student from ACCC in Writing Arts and Honors. Altered Carbon on Netflix was a good sci-fi series. I haven't heard of that either.
It's interesting.
Huh.
Who's Assassin?
This is good. From Seneca, Love, Death, and Robots. Huh.
Okay. I'm writing these down.
Raul from Homedale. Awesome. So we have a great group today. So for anyone I didn't get to, you guys are popping on late, feel free to introduce yourself. Again, give us something fun to watch on TV. If you want to drop a recipe, that's we're always looking for inspiration in the kitchen as well. But at this point, I will turn it over to Richard Jones, who is our Vice President for Student Engagement. And then we will circle back to any questions that you guys have throughout the presentation at the end.
So like Jessica said, I want to welcome you all and welcome you all to Rowan and just welcome you all to this experience. We hope that you have fun. That's the main thing. And we hope that you ask some really good questions because that's what we're here for. And we want to show you how fitting in at Rowan is probably not as hard. But we want to make that process really smooth for you. And like Jessica said, my name is Richard Jones, and I'm the Vice President for Student Engagement. And I've actually been at Rowan since 2008. And so I'm going to turn it over to Roxie, let her introduce herself, and then we're going to go straight into our presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Roxie Patton, and I am the director in the Office of Social Justice, Inclusion, and Resolution. And I'm really excited to talk with you all today because I find it so exciting when students come away to college because it's such a great time to explore who you are and to find new friends and build your community. And I know for me, going away to college was a life-altering experience. And so we'll talk a little bit today about our office and the ways that you can get involved and start building your own community. And we have a little presentation, and then we're really excited to hear from you and your questions. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my screen sharing. I think we've got it up and running there. All right. So to let you know a little bit about who we are in SJICR, this is our mission. I'm not going to read it, their piece, but I think important parts for us are really that we have 3 pillars that we like to work with in creating opportunities for you to learn and grow on campus. And that's identity development. We want you to have opportunities to explore your culture, your religious and spiritual identities, your gender, your sexuality, your socioeconomic background, and to really explore that identity and what it means to build community around that, to cultivate your leadership skills and give you opportunities to find your voice and to feel empowered, and to create opportunities for what we call global citizenship. So through service opportunities, mentoring, community engagement, really give you the opportunities to grow as a human being while you're also having a great time.
Yeah. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how we started our social justice, inclusion and conflict resolution center. So maybe about 6-7 years ago, there were 2 separate conversations occurring, right? Our students were having a conversation, and some of our staff members were having a conversation about the way our students navigate the university, how they learn about themselves, and how can we foster that? How can we be advocates in their growth? And I come from universities where a women's center, for example, had been in existence since the 1970s. So right after the civil rights movement, and right after the equal rights amendment was coming out. And so I was a little surprised that in 2008 we did not have a women's center. And so we were having about ways that students present themselves to the university. We were thinking about how can we sort of foster that. And so some students were coming up with the same conversation, and they started something called a P3, right? And that P3 organization was, how can we get multiculturalism together, a women's center, and also talk about gender issues, right? And so when I heard that they were petitioning my office to do that, I brought some student leaders together, and we started having conversations about what would this look like, right? Because one of the things we know, and Roxie just said this, and my name is Richard, and so from now on, Roxie, you don't know this, but I think that we're going to go, since we're going to be working together so closely, I think we're going to be like R² from now on. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Right? Okay, all right, cool deal. And so we started to get together to talk about ways in which student presents. For example, I am African American. I'm from the South. I was raised Christian, right? And all of those things sort of meet together, right? And when I got to college, some of the things that I had grown up with thinking, they were beginning to change, and they didn't necessarily always converge in a way that I felt comfortable with. And they were not separate parts of me, but they were all of me, right? And so we got together and we decided to take some of our resources that we had already and put together the Social Justice, Inclusion, and Conflict Resolution Center. And that's how we got started. So one of the things that I love about Rowan is that we always include our students in the decision-making process, especially when it comes to agencies or policy impact their lives as students. And so here we are. We've got this wonderful center that has its own building, and we really also want to make sure that it was a place where people can get together, have conversations, and it served as a home away from home.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that people say about SJICR. That's what people will call, you'll hear our office called SJICR on campus because it's a lot shorter. And people will often refer to it as a home away from home. I joined the Rowan community It'll be 1 year, 2 weeks from now. So I came here from Virginia, but by way of, I'm originally from southeastern Ohio, so I'm from the rural Appalachian Mountains. And what I really like about the way that we do this work here is that many schools do have these centers, but they're scattered all around campus. And at Rowan, we put them all together in one place, recognizing that we all hold many identities and that someone might not just identify with a gender or sexuality that has been marginalized or that they want to explore, but they might also want to talk about their race or to talk about their faith and their spiritual beliefs. And you can do all of that with us in SJICR rather than having to pick and choose which parts of your identity you get to hold and learn and grow about. So we do have underneath SJICR, we have our Multicultural Center, our LGBTQIA+ Center, Women's Center, Interfaith and Spiritual Exploration Center, and we also have the Harley E. Flack Mentoring Program, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And each of these spaces has a physical location. In Hawthorne Hall is our primary space, and there you'll find the Multicultural Center, LGBTQIA, and the Women's Center. And we also have a prayer and meditation room in that space that also is a sensory room for anyone who might need it, who's on the autism spectrum or who just needs a break from the chaos that can be college life. You can go in there. We have color changing lights and soft furniture and STEM toys. And then we also have a full Interfaith and Spiritual Exploration Center in Evergreen Hall with a kitchen and everything where we host events, and people can also use that space for prayer and meditation.
And Roxie, I might add, not only is it a kitchen, but it's a kosher kitchen.
Yes, there's a kosher kitchen as well.
Yeah.
So we technically have 2 kitchens down there.
You know, and there's another thing too about the assistant directors that sort of administer each one of those offices is that, you know, so the assistant director for the Multicultural Center is not just versed in issues of multiculturalism, but that person can also do women's center issues. That person can also do sexuality and gender issues, can talk about spiritual exploration issues. And so all of our assistant directors are multifunctional so that they can actually serve in all of those particular areas. So that's one of the things that I also think is unique about our social justice center.
Absolutely. And you'll find that that way, no matter what time you come to visit us and who's available, there's always someone who can help support you and help you find what you're looking for on campus. So when we talk about finding ways to build your community on campus, the most important thing you can do really is to get involved. And if you find that you're getting on campus and you're looking for those opportunities and spaces, one of the great things we have in SJICR is that we have all these student organizations you see before you are student organizations that are affiliated with our department, meaning that we have advising sessions with them, that we support their programs, we co-partner with them. They sometimes host their meetings in our spaces, and they come to our student organization retreat where we provide training and really support them in what they're doing. And so we have a wide variety of student organizations, and there's a directory that'll be available on our website, and we'll give you our website at the end of this presentation. So you can find different spaces to explore your culture or your religious and spiritual identities, your sexuality, your gender. And so this list could change tomorrow, because one of the great things about student organizations is you all are in charge of those. And so if you're looking at this list and you say, wow, this is a really great list, but I don't see something that aligns with this part of myself, or I'd like to take these pieces and put them together, or what if I wanted to create a program or a group that was LGBTQIA and focused on community service, you can do that. And in SJICR, we can help walk you through that process, because we want you to have every opportunity to connect and explore together. But getting involved is so huge. I know for me as an undergraduate student, one of the things that absolutely changed my life was joining the Gay Straight Alliance, and that tells you how old I am, because no one calls them Gay Straight Alliances anymore. But I did not come out until I was in my late 20s, and being around other LGBTQ folks was huge. I was also an active member of our Black student organization, which focused on awareness around Black issues before we had things like the Black Lives Matter movement in the early 2000s. And I was able to explore what it meant for me to be a white person who cared about social justice issues and how to get involved and how to share the microphone. I was involved in student choirs and in student theater. And through that, that's where I met all of these lifelong friends who really have enriched my experience and challenged me to be a better version of myself. Richard, I'm sure you were involved too.
I absolutely was. I was involved in almost every organization that you just mentioned. And not only that, I was also a resident assistant on campus. I was a student senator. And so I was really involved, but here's the thing, and I really want to echo this. It is just not a place for what the world calls marginalized students or underrepresented students. That is a place for everyone, right? And so if you're a white cisgendered male, there's a place there for you as well, right? And we want everyone to feel comfortable, because one of the things that we realize is that this world is increasingly more global, right? And you can be friends with someone, and we want you to be able to relate to that person and be culturally competent. And that's something that's really, really important to us. And so we just want you to know, oh, here's another thing. First coming to college, it can be so intimidating to go into a building because you don't know anyone and everybody seems so different. But this is the sort of space, all you have to do is come in and just say hello, and somebody's going to treat you with respect and dignity. And we're going to, definitely help you get acclimated to Rowan, to the office, and to all of our service. And heck, right now, you already know 3 people at least, me, Roxie, and Jessica. That's already a start. So yeah, we want everyone to feel welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we employ between 10 and 14 students here. And so your peers are also going to be working in the space and would love it if you would just come hang out. We have lounge spaces, there's movies going, there's TV, we have a full service library. So you don't even have to come with the intent of jumping into something deep and serious right away. There's lots of opportunities to just come and do crafts with us or just hang out and create space for yourself. So some other ways to get involved, we have some signature events that we're kind of known for on campus. So we do host in the fall, at the beginning of each fall semester, we host a cookout and an organization fair for our affiliated organizations, just to have that visibility with the other students on campus who are getting to know them and getting to know what they're all about. We have a Women in the Arts Festival, forgive the typo. We have a Women in the Arts Festival, which is so much fun. We throw a full festival. We have food trucks, student organizations perform. We have dancers. We have work. This last year, we brought in a spoken word artist from Philadelphia who did a spoken word workshop and taught people how to write poetry and perform poetry and how to get signed up into that scene in Philadelphia. And we planned some trips around that. We host our National Coming Out Week, which is the week of October 11th. And at the end of the week, we have a huge festival out behind the Student Center, where student organizations and LGBTQIA+ organizations from around the state come and table. And there's also a fun dance party that goes with it, where I make a fool of myself, and I don't apologize for that. We have our Dining for Diversity program, which is a regular opportunity. It's offered every other week, where you can come and get free food. But we bring in guest chefs. You can volunteer to be a guest chef. A lot of our chefs are from the Rowan community or from the South Jersey community, and people will prepare a dish that's culturally important to them and talk about their culture and why this food is important to them. I know the session I hosted was about, so you might have noticed that I'm very white. It's right there. But what you might not know from looking at me is that my father is adopted, and so my grandparents are Native American. So I will often cook fry bread and talk about the importance of fry bread growing up and what it means for me to have these Native American traditions and to have these Native American heritage. I can't even talk today, y'all. I've been home too long. But to have these parts of my culture that are still very important to me. So you can hear all about these experiences. We host a Trans Day of Celebration. So we love to have students involved with our programming, and we put it out last year, and students said they wanted a transgender walk of fame. And around campus, people came together, and we had these huge Hollywood stars all in front of the Student Center, where you could see these important transgender activists and writers and performers and hear about their stories and experiences. We regularly host opportunities for students to go to conferences. We did 3 this year. And so they're free of charge for students to attend, but we want you to have opportunities to explore leadership. We do one trip usually to New York City, one to Philadelphia, and one to DC, depending on what conferences are available. And then we have our social justice leadership retreat, which again is free of charge for you to go. It's a full weekend. You walk away with a cool hoodie and an amazing weekend-long curriculum where you get to dive into what social justice leadership looks like, all with your peers. We have a lot of peer-led sessions. So once you go once, then you become part of our team and you can present the next year. And then we have ongoing book clubs, discussions, small group meetings. There's all kinds of things to get involved in. And if any of that sounded exciting, good news is we're doing some of this stuff over the summer. So whether you're a new student or you've already been a member of the Rowan community, we still want you to be able to get involved with us. So all of these programs are available to you now. We are having an LGBTQIA plus social next week. If you would like to be added to the Zoom list, just shoot me an email there at patton@rowan.edu. And this is actually co-sponsored with all 4 of the LGBTQIA plus student organizations. So there will be opportunities. We're playing Jackbox games. We're doing a trivia night. And then we're going to be talking about what kind of programs people want to see and do over the summer with the student organizations. We're doing a summer book club. And so we're going to be providing folks with e-copies of the book Little Fires Everywhere with bi-weekly discussions where you can read and then come and join a Zoom call and we'll just chat casually. And then we're also doing our Dining for Diversity program sort of virtually, is we're going to do some recipe challenges and cultural sharing on Zoom calls. So if you want information about those, please email us. If you forget to write down the email, you can easily find our website on Rowan, and we're happy to get you connected.
So Roxie, I didn't know that about you, about the Native American ancestry. So that's one other thing that we have in common. Both of my great-great-grandparents are half Native American. One is Cherokee and the other is Seminole.
Oh, fantastic. I'm Cherokee.
Oh, so we could be related.
It is possible. Yeah, the funny thing is people see me and they go, well, I don't get, but I'm a registered member of the Cherokee Nation because when you're adopted, it's a lot of people think it's by blood count, but it's not in many indigenous tribes. So that's really cool. And then on my mom's side, we actually have, my mom more distantly, we have Creek.
Okay,
So.
okay. And and here's another thing too, right? And so we have all of these things going on within the Social Justice Inclusion and Conflict Resolution Center, but we also want you to know, most of all, that it is a safe place, right? It is a place where you can absolutely be your most respectful self, right? And that's something that we really pride ourselves on, right? You won't be judged. People won't look at you strangely. You may be challenged, right? Appropriately, but that's what growth is all about.
Yeah. One of the things that I really appreciate, and I've been at Rowan a year, I've been doing social justice work for 10 years in a college setting. And one of the things that I appreciate is the grace that we give each other to learn and grow and accept people where they are while challenging them to be their best selves. And so I think vulnerability is one of the most important skills that we have in social justice. And so when I've talked with students, I've talked about those times that being someone who is white, who came from the rural Appalachian Mountains that was mostly white people, I didn't know as much about racism when I went away to college. And all of that was a learning experience where I said and did the wrong thing and had to be challenged. And if I wasn't willing to go to those spaces and do it over and over again, I know I wouldn't be my best version of myself. And so I got there because people in centers like this and people who do the work that Richard does, right, are the folks who pulled me aside and invested in me. And so it's okay. You don't have to come knowing everything. This is a space for us to just explore. And I really love that. And I think it's so important that we have that in today's culture where cancel culture is so prevalent, where we think if people don't come to us fully formed that they're bad, when we really should have the grace to learn and grow.
I want to share something really quick. It's a kind of funny story, but it wasn't funny when I first, when it first happened to me. But as I said in the opening, I grew up in the South, right? And so my first professional job after grad school was at Vanderbilt University. And I went to a meeting and they were serving breakfast, a continental breakfast. And you know what a continental breakfast is, or if you don't, it's just like maybe danishes and fruit and juice, right? And so on the platter, they had these things that I thought were donuts, right? And when I looked at it, I was like, these are the most unusual donuts that I've ever seen in my life, right? And when I picked it up, they were like hard. And so I went to one of my friends, one of my colleagues, and I said, these donuts are stale. And she laughed at me. And it wasn't like one of those, like, you silly, dude, laughs. It was like just a laugh because she thought it was funny. It was a bagel. And I had never eaten or seen a bagel in my life, right? And if she had judged me inappropriately, I probably would have felt some kind of way. And I guess I'm saying that, now, don't get me wrong, I'm from the South. So if you put a biscuit in front of me, I know what to do with a biscuit. I absolutely do. I know what to do with a biscuit. But I didn't know what to do with with a bagel. But my friend, she nurtured me and she showed me how to slice it and put cream cheese on it. And now I love bagels, right? And I had to get outside of my comfort zone, and I did not feel any kind of way, and I just flowed with it. And I like the idea. We're not expecting you to be perfect. We're not expecting you to be fully formed. We want you to present yourself to us exactly like you are. And we're not here to change you. We're here to help you grow in the areas that you want to grow in. That's the most important thing.
And I know this wasn't the point of that story, but now Richard has me wanting a biscuit, something fierce. Hot biscuit with honey. Us Southern folks, we need them. They're our lifeblood.
Yes, yes, yes. And I've got a great biscuit recipe. I will share it with you.
Yes, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another way that you can get involved, if you're a first-year student, a second-year student, or a transfer student who self-identifies as first-generation college student, then you can join the Harley E. Flack Mentoring Program. So the Harley E. Flack Mentoring Program is an opportunity for you to connect with faculty, staff, and your peers. So when you sign up for the program, you get matched with a peer group, with a peer mentor, you get matched with a professional mentor, and we're working on trying to build an alumni component to that. And they really help you throughout that experience to you need academically. Where are the places that you can get involved and plugged in? They're going to help you because they've already been through that, right? So your peers have gone through that first year, that second year, they know what that transition is like. Your faculty or staff mentor has made it all the way through and has already figured out how to get to that next level of their profession. So they can help you as you're thinking about what career you want to go into and how to navigate that and what classes you should be taking, and really helping you think about the ways you can get the most out of your college experience. And students who go through a mentoring program are much more successful. It really helps with your confidence in your own abilities, and knowing that you have someone to talk to, whatever the issue or concern is, can just be really affirming. And so it's a really fantastic program. It's been going on here at Rowan for over 20 years. And one of the exciting things is that we just got new software. And so there's going to be a great component where you can easily integrate texting with your mentors, video calling. You can set up an appointment through our app now, and it automatically saves to your calendar on your phone. So it's really going to be such a smooth transition for folks to connect with each other, rather than feeling like they have to go through all these steps. You can click it on your phone and you're connected to your group, which is really exciting. So if you want information about how to apply, we'll have our website at the end, and the application program is there. So if you're interested in what we do, or you saw something, you said, wow, these are the ways to keep it up with what we have going on. Our calendar is regularly updated on our website. We're always advertising stuff on Instagram, and we also do a lot of Instagram live stuff. So we just had a celebration last week a couple weeks ago. Everything's blurred together for our graduates, where if you had tuned in, you would see me and somebody else awkwardly doing the electric slide. Hey. And it was fun, right? And then we also have a Facebook page, so we encourage you to follow us there for updated schedule of events. opportunities to get involved. We're going to have some more opportunities this summer as our calendar continues to develop, but we really want the opportunity to get to know you. So it's also just a great way. If you send a message to our Instagram page, someone will answer you usually within an hour.
You know, and I want to add a little bit more about the mentoring aspect. I'm a mentor in the Harley E. Flack mentoring program. And some of my best relationships that I form with my students have come out of the Harley Flack mentoring program. I have a mentee that has graduated that works for Sony Records as an exec. I have a mentee that works for Channel 3 News and ABC, and she's won 3 Emmys. And you know, and I'm happy to say that I was a part in their decision-making process regarding, you know, their career choices. And a plug, on the 27th at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a session on the importance of mentoring. And we're going to have the dean from the College of Engineering, who's going to talk about the impact of mentoring on her life. We're going to have Greg Caputo, who is our chairman for, I think, our chemistry department here on campus. And he is also, if you're interested in pre-med, he can talk to you about that. He works a lot with our pre-med students. We've got Dr. Harold Connolly, who is one of our professors, and he also works for NASA, right? And so they're going to talk about the importance of mentoring on the 27th at 1 o'clock. So we invite you to join that one too. And we also have Rob Simmons, who is our assistant director for the Harley E. Flack mentoring program. He's also going to be a panelist as well. So you can find out more information on mentoring there as well. We really think that that is an important aspect of your college experience.
They are hilarious and always bring a good time to a virtual call. And, you know, just to echo what Richard just shared, is that mentoring, both aspects, mentoring and being mentored, can be life altering in so many ways. And when I think back on my success, so I didn't share earlier, I'm first gen. So I'm the only person in my family still who has a college degree, and I have a master's degree. I grew up living in a double wide trailer that had collapsed floors in 2 rooms with a pool in the back. And a lot of that is because I had mentors who invested in me. And my high school mentor who wrote in my yearbook, "It's not going to be easy, just keep going," Absolutely. Who I dedicated my master's thesis to, and I wear a bracelet that has that engraved on the inside for when things are hard. Or my mentor, my professional mentor, who when I was transitioning into my workplace and trying to figure out what to do with my life, who helped me figure out my path and gave me new opportunities. And these folks can really be a valuable asset as part of your network and connecting you to where you want to go.
They can be lifelong friends too.
Yes. Yeah, I mentored students at every job I've been in, and I have so many wonderful relationships because of that. All right, so I'm going to turn off screen sharing, and then we can get into some conversation. How about that?
About it.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. So I'll share this story too that most students on the call probably don't know. I'm also an alum of Rowan University, and when I was an undergraduate student sitting in your shoes, one of my mentors was Richard Jones, who was the dean of students at the time. But I really think it totally inspired my career choice into higher education. And now I've worked in higher ed close to 10 years. I just finished my doctorate, and really was one of the first people that inspired me, and I was able to build such a great relationship with. And even my mom to this day loves Richard, of course. So you really think like these people can be in your life forever. So for our incoming students, campus is so important, not just for that moment while you're in college, but really for the rest of your life, to have people who will inspire you, stand by you, and always support you. That is crucial. So to be able to have such a wonderful space on campus that really embodies that is fantastic. So I'm excited for you guys to be able to take advantage of those resources.
And I just want to say, and I say this to you all the time, that I'm like phenomenally proud of you. Every time I see you, I just think you're absolutely wonderful, and you are just awesome, right? And so Jessica, you are the bomb.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but thank you.
But you got it. You deserve it. You deserved it.
So I'll turn it over to our students now. We did have a couple of questions coming in while we were talking. We have a great question from Nathaniel, and Nathaniel wants to know, can we be involved in more than just one activity or organization? Short answer to that is, oh my God, yes, absolutely. But I'll have Richard and Roxie chime in and talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Absolutely. And so we're probably going to say the same thing, R squared. So, yeah, but I'll let you go ahead and tackle it first.
Okay, yeah. So I would say you can be involved in as much as you can carry on your plate, right? So I don't know, depending on what your major is and how much study time you need and what you might be juggling at home, all those different things, they create how much you can carry on your plate at any given time. So you might find that one semester you're good to be in 2 or 3 student organizations, and as your classes get more complicated, you want to really hone in and invest in one student organization. You might find that you get a campus job, and through your campus job, you're involved in a lot of activities, and so maybe the student organization component isn't as big for you. So it's really about what you can navigate and what you can hold. There aren't limits. The sky is the limit.
That's right. And I also want you to remember that it's not, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's 4 years, right? And you've got time to build your endurance, right? And so the most important thing about attending a university is the academics, getting those grades, right? And I think that once you kind of master that, then you can start adding things to your portfolio. Maybe choose one organization that you really connect with, your first year, and so that you can get a foundation. And then as you grow, add things, right? And I think it's like going to a banquet, right? You might put a whole bunch of things on your plate, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't like that. And the next time you go back to the buffet table, you're a little bit more selective, right? And so what we do is we have an organizational fair that will give you an opportunity to meet all the organizations. And just like Roxie said, you all have an open house, right? And so there's an opportunity for you to go there. But don't rush it. Take your time, be selective, and also just utilize the resources, right? Find a mentor early if you can. And your mentor can help you decide which of the things that would be beneficial to you at that particular time. But I echo exactly what Roxie just said. It is about time management, and that is one of the skills that you will absolutely learn when you come to college. Because sometimes our family members aren't there to get us up at 7:30 in the morning so that we can get off, and so the time belongs to you. So yeah.
Great, thanks guys. So we have a question about the Hidden Disability Alliance and how would a student get involved as an incoming freshman? And I'm going to expand that question to how would an incoming freshman student or an incoming transfer student who all of this is new, how do you get involved?
So, first of all, I would say to you, attend orientation. That is the first thing, right? Because at orientation, you're going to hear from a lot of the departments and services that we have on campus, right? The second thing that I would say is that once you get here, and we are planning for you to be here in the fall, once you get here, check out the organization fair, right? And so those are ways that you can also find out what we have to offer. At orientation, you're going to have what we call a pro, and that pro is your peer referral orientation leader. And that's a student who will take you around to all your orientation sessions, and that person is a really good resource for you to get information from and kind of ask them questions about how they got involved. If you are going to be living on campus, you will have an RA, a resident assistant. And your resident assistant is trained to get you plugged into all the happenings on campus. And one of the things that if we are on campus, one of the things that I would also just say to you is just get out of your room, right? Because there's going to be so many things happening on campus. And you don't even have to feel like, oh, I don't have anybody to go with. You just go and somebody will greet you and somebody will meet you. And, you just have to step out and just do it, right?
I'm gonna tell y'all a story of how I met my best friend, who then became my college roommate for 3 years. Is that I transferred to a 4-year college after going to community college, and I had such a hard time because I was already a little bit older than everybody else, and I had to live in a first-year residence hall even though I was 20. Because that was the college policy. And weeks in, I was so lonely. I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. And then I walked into my residence hall and there were 3 people sitting on a couch watching Walk the Line, that like Johnny Cash movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And
Reese Witherspoon.
And Reese Witherspoon, yes. And so I walked in and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to see that movie. And then I was like, oh, they won't like me because I'm weird and old. And I started to walk away. And then I said, no, Roxie, go over and just introduce yourself. And you know what? That could have gone a million different ways. And if I let myself live in the fear of how I'd be received, I would have never met my best friend. Actually, 2 of my best friends were there. And it completely changed the course of my college career because we ended up getting an apartment together. We did everything together. We do vacations together now. And it wasn't even through one of these formal ways that we get to know each other. But there are so many ways. Don't be afraid to, if you see someone sitting at a table, walk up and sit and say hi to them. If you see someone and you like their style, don't be afraid to tell them. It can be such a great way to meet folks. I would also say for the person that asked about the Hidden Disability Alliance, if you have a hidden disability, please know that you can confidently go to the Disability Resource Center and talk with John Woodruff. And the thing that's great about that, I think people think about that often in the sense of their accommodation, but also he has done such a wonderful job of building community. I have a hidden disability, so I have fibromyalgia and I also have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And it turns out there are 12 students on our campus who also have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And so when I came here last year and John Woodruff found out I had that, when I shared it with him, he connected those students with me. And now we meet regularly just to hang out and share tips and talk about our barriers on campus. And so it's really a great resource where you could also meet other folks who could be navigating some of the same things that you are. Or you can just come talk to me because I'm always happy to find other folks with disabilities.
And me as well. Last year, I was named Professional of the Year for my contributions to disability services, because that's something that I support wholeheartedly. But there's another way, I almost forgot about this, Jessica, is that, so we have a software called ProfLink, and that all of our students can sign up for ProfLink, and you'll learn how to sign up for ProfLink in orientation. And every club and organization is also signed up in ProfLink, and they advertise their meetings, right, on ProfLink, right? So they'll advertise their meetings. You'll have their executive board contact information, and you can shoot somebody an email, and you can just attend a meeting that way. And so there's so many portals to getting involved on campus. That there's probably a way that you will feel comfortable accessing so that you can get involved. So yeah, and I think that's great. Yeah, so yeah, get involved that way. It makes your experience a lot more meaningful.
Absolutely. And ProfLink, for any students, even if you're a prospective student still in high school or an incoming student, if you guys Google ProfLink, it is the first thing that pops up on that Google search. So check it out. It's an awesome way just to see what we have going on around campus. Once you get to campus, it's a great way to see every day what's happening. You can even search events if you want, buy free food or free perks. So pretty cool. And there is so much stuff going on every single day. There are tons of activities. So it's a great resource. So Richard, good point. Thanks for sharing. I had forgotten about that as well. So we have a question from Catherine that really stood out to me. We have a lot of questions coming in, but I want to make sure we answer this one. And this student is, let's say, feeling some type of way because maybe they're not quite living up to their identity as either, recognizing, with their gender or their ethnicity. And, I will flip this back to Richard and Roxie to touch on, but I do want to go back to Richard's point earlier that this is a marathon and not a sprint. This is a long journey. And I don't think any of us at any point, including any of us on this call, ever stop learning and growing and learning about ourselves, let alone other people. So I want to put that pressure and that stress on you, but I will turn it over to Richard and Roxie to discuss as well.
Yeah, I can tell you. So first of all, there is no wrong way to be you.
Absolutely.
I think we have so much pressure to be all of these different things. I was just talking about this with a student the other day about, especially with Instagram and TikTok and all of these things telling us all the time how we're supposed to look and what we're supposed to know and what it means to be gay and what it means to be a Christian and all these different things.
It means to be Black and everything.
Right. There's so many expectations that if you're measuring yourself by other people's yardstick, you will always fall short.
Yeah.
And so the most important thing is to think about the things that are important to you and recognize that anything that you're not comfortable with is something you can adjust, but not to let other people and other people's ideas or metrics make you feel uncomfortable about yourself. I know, so I'm genderqueer, I'm non-binary. And I felt really bad when I came out because so many people started pointing out, how can you be non-binary? You're so feminine, you wear makeup. I even had someone that I worked with at another school say to me, well, you know, really, you're just taking attention away from everybody else because you're a woman and you look like a woman. And I used to let that bother me. And then I realized that that's not my baggage to hold. That's their baggage to hold. I know how I feel and who I am, and to live proud of my identity. It just doesn't have anything to do with anything external. So no one can be you as excellently as you can.
You absolutely. So my undergraduate degree is in English and history, and so I love Shakespeare, and one of his one of the quotes that stand out for me is from Hamlet, and it is for all you AP English people out there. Laertes, it was Polonius to his son Laertes when Laertes was getting ready to go off to college. And I'm going to paraphrase it. And this is something that I absolutely live by. And it is, to thine own self be true, then you can be false to no man. And I think that that echoes exactly what Roxie is saying, is that, you know, nobody can be you. You are the most unique individual in this whole entire world. There's no one else like you, and no one can tell you how to be you, right? You know, not only am I Black and I'm from the South and I'm a male, but I'm also a son, I'm an uncle, you know, I'm a father, all of those things, right? And all of those, and I bring all of those things and all of those experiences with me when I attend a meeting, when I go out shopping, and I love to shop, and all of those things, right? And so you know, and I sometimes I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Sometimes there are situations where I should stand up and I don't stand up, right? But I give myself grace, as Roxie said, to be human, right? And that's what it is. And so it, you know, no one has it figured out. And if they tell you that they've got all of these pieces figured out, I'm just going to tell you right now, they're lying to you, right? But that's where the Social Justice, Inclusion, and Conflict Resolution Center comes in, because that is a place where you can have those conversations, right? And you can tell people what you're struggling with, right? Whether I'm going to be a Black man first or a son first, you don't know, right? And yeah, so I'm really passionate about this, and so that's why I'm like all over the place with this. But no, but this is real. This is your life. This is you are creating the foundation for the rest of your life, and we want you to build that foundation on something solid, and that's you.
And I have never met a single student who was not worthy of love, who was not worthy of excellence, who did not have greatness in every fiber of their body. And it's about unlocking that and giving yourself permission to be who you are authentically. And I just want to let you all know, wherever you're coming from, whatever your experience is, know that you come to Rowan completely worthy to be here and show up authentically as you are. You deserve that. You are worthy of all those things.
And I want to say that, and if someone is treating you like you're unworthy, we have systems in place, right, where you can report those things, right? And if somebody is treating you badly, come to me. I want to know, and I will point you in the right direction to get those things solved, because we want you to have the best experience.
Thank you guys so much. So I do want to be mindful of time as we're getting towards the end of our session here. I don't want this conversation to end, and I'm going to put both of you on the spot so we can do another one of these because I think there's so much more to talk about. There's so many questions that we didn't get to, but I do want to be mindful of time. And if any student is joining us for our honor session at 2 o'clock, I want to make sure we get that up and running in time. So unfortunately, we'll have to wrap it up here, but with some parting words, and that was great advice to end on, if you guys could both just share a piece of advice for our incoming students, and then we will say goodbye from there and hopefully continue this conversation. Let's say we'll pick a date in June and pick up where we left off.
Awesome. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, because I'm actually, I think I'm going to take this with me, and I'm going to steal your phrase, right? Of course, you know, I gave you my sort of catchphrase: "To thy own self be true, then you can be false to no man." But I think that this is probably the most important one, Roxanne. And you hit the nail on the head. It's grace. It's grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself the opportunity to make a mistake and be okay with it. Admit when you don't know something. That's okay, because we don't know everything. And if you have a question, you know, about something, ask. Be appropriate in the way that, you know, but ask, but give yourself grace to not know. And that will take you miles.
A long way. The piece of advice I would share is probably the best advice I got when I was sitting in your shoes. And we had a speaker that I will blatantly steal from, whose name I cannot remember because I was just a wee child at that point in my life, but who said coming away to college is such a great time for transformation, and a time where if you recognize it, you can be anything you want to be, and you don't have to be anything you don't want to be. And at the surface level, that sounds so simple, but it's true. Maybe you were bullied in high school and you didn't fit in there. Maybe you were the jock. Maybe you were the theater kid, whatever those things are, those stereotypes, the archetypes of high school. You bring with you what you want. You start fresh. You get to decide who you want to be and start cultivating that here. When I went away to college, I changed my name. I started my life over because I was leaving the oppression and the violence that I grew up in away. I said, I'm starting my life over and I'm not bringing that abuse with me. And that's how I want to live my life. And it was a great time for me. So whether that's, you know, leaving some of those stereotypes behind, or some of those negative thought beliefs you have about yourself, or fear of putting yourself out there, leave all that behind and decide what it is you want to bring with you. Pack that in your suitcase and bring it with you, whether you're commuting or you're living on campus. Yeah, and I'm not going to answer the question, but I saw someone was a commuter student. Shoot me an email. I was a commuter for several years, and be happy to talk to you about how to get involved.
Yeah, and I saw something else too. Nick, Kurt, you love Shakespeare? Brother, let's talk Shakespeare. Send me an email. We can talk about Shakespeare all day long if you want to, brother. And one more thing, I want you all to read a poem. It's called "If" by Rudyard Kipling. Absolutely, he was a colonialist. We know, right? But his words are really good. It is a really great poem, and it's "If" by Rudyard Kipling.
Richard and Roxie, I cannot thank you guys enough. This was such an awesome hour, and I hope our students, you guys were able to just really enjoy the conversation. I know I absolutely did. I know we had a couple questions about receiving a copy of the presentation and a recording. We have both available, so if you want to email either me directly, it's Syed, SYEDJ, @rowan.edu, or admissions@rowan.edu. If that's easier, we can get you copies of both the presentation as well as the recording from today's session if you wanted to watch it back. We will do another session at some point this summer. I can promise that, because this was a lot of fun and I would love to continue this conversation myself. So thank you both so much again. And really thank you to our students for spending the hour with us, talking with us, asking wonderful questions. It's been so nice to get to know you. Hopefully we will see you at some more virtual events throughout the rest of this month and going into the summer. And we really, really look forward to seeing all of you on campus soon. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.